Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and since it's Women's History Month, I'm here today to talk to you about The House Bunny, the 2008 movie directed by Fred Wolf and produced by Adam Sandler and starring that of Anna Faris. This movie is beyond hilarious. I love this movie too much. You will never stop laughing. You will constantly laugh throughout this entire movie. It is that good. And however, critics didn't feel that way when the movie came out. Basically, the movie had average to mixed reviews, but this movie has since become that of a cult classic. And thank God for that, because this movie deserves it. It just wasn't appreciated back then. I remember when I saw the trailer on television, I'm like, oh, I gotta watch this movie. I gotta watch this movie. The Marilyn Monroe scene really got to me. That was awesome and stuff. This movie should have propelled that of Anna Faris to like a huge name movie comedy star, just like the Scary Movies did. But sadly, because of the mixed reviews, that kind of like, not so much squander it, but kind of like put a pause to it. She still starred in other stuff, but those movies had mixed reviews as well. And then she went on to TV to do Mom, and Mom was really good. And it started to suck once the focus of the show started to change. When that changed, I was out, and then Anna Faris was out. It's sad she left her own show. I stopped watching around season 3. I'm just like, nah, the show has changed too much. I can't get behind it no more. But I still own the first season on DVD. And so, but Anna Faris is a true gem in the comedic sense. She is probably my favorite female comedian, or probably just my favorite comedian in general. She's just that hilarious and stuff. I can't really think of any other comedians at this point in time. I know there's other people that make me laugh nonstop, but she is up there on my top 5 and everything. This movie also stars a lot of other well-known people and big names. Some people just getting their start in the movie industry, and people like Emma Stone and Kat Dennings and stuff. Emma Stone before this had did a couple of movies, but then after this and a few more like Zombieland and stuff like that, and whatever that college movie she was in with Jonah Hill. Basically, after those couple of movies, she got Easy A, and she became the new it girl of Hollywood. Kat Dennings before this had done a lot of TV stuff and a couple of movies. And so, she's mostly just relegated to that of television, and she kills it and everything. Two Broke Girls is hilarious. And of course, she has appeared in the MCU. And this movie also has a bunch of 2 veteran comedic actors and stuff. Now, this movie is kind of like Mean Girls. Actually, it's a lot like Mean Girls and stuff. And I know I haven't got to the rest of the cast. There's a reason for that, and I'll get to that a little bit later. And so because Anna Faris is the main star of the movie. And so everything focused around her. But then there's a side plot with that of the Natalie character played by Emma Stone. So she gets the secondary most development and stuff. Then Kat Dennings gets a little bit here and there, but mostly one thing this movie suffers from is lack of character development with the other cast. Some of them are non-existent, and I will get to that a little bit later. But also, if you this movie is very much like Mean Girls in a lot of different ways. It's the social commentary on that of what it's like to not only be female and thinking what guys want and how to get around in life, but also that of sororities and stuff. And I can't stand Greek life. I'll get into that a little bit later as well. And so, like Mean Girls, the comedy in the writing is very smart. The jokes always land. And one thing this thing does is that just like with Mean Girls, there's a clique. But this clique is kind of like it flips the script. Instead of like them being the mean popular girls, they're the social outcasts and everything, who later on become the mean, like, popular girls. So it's very much like Mean Girls, very much like Clueless and stuff. And one of the great things, like with those movies and this one, is that the girls eventually do learn their life lesson, and that, being popular and dressed in slutty will eventually change your personality. And they don't like that. And so, like, it's that cliche movie where that always happens. But at least they learned their own lesson without having so much anybody else to tell them. Except for the Lily character, but she's one of the main ones. I guess you can call Lily a main character. Like I said before, I'll get into that a little bit later as well. And so you're wondering if this movie is so funny, if the jokes always land, if the writing is very smart like Mean Girls and Clueless. Well, what's wrong with this movie? Well, for one, like I said, the other cast members are pretty much non-existent, especially the minority ones, who seem to just like disappear throughout the entire movie. And not only that, but like you really don't know much about them other than what's told about them in the very beginning. And of course, their personalities change just like with the rest of the cast, but that's like you're expected for that to happen. Another problem with this movie is that, well, not everybody can act very well in this movie. Not as like, to kick them down, nothing like that. But the reason is like, only a small majority of the cast cannot act that well. It's not that they can't act that well, it's just that they're barely in the movie, and what's given to you is kind of over exaggerated and stuff. Like, okay, what was that? Okay, it was the Sex Lives of College Girls. And I literally said that there's a movie about a sorority movie where, like, you have these outcast type people, but it's not like the norm type outcast, it's the extreme outcast. So they have the extreme comedy bizarreness and stuff, and to the point where it's not very realistic at times. And because of that, it makes their acting not seem as great. Now, for the most part, there's only a few who can't act that well. I will get into each of them and how I think they act. Like, it's not bad, like, trust me. And there's a reason why one of the people here can't act like all that much and disappears from the movie. And that's because she's not even an actress. Like, she's literally a hairdresser. Now, I like this character. I like the way the actress looks. She is gorgeous. Well, I can't even call her an actress because she's not really an actress. This is her only movie and stuff. But she is gorgeous and has amazing legs. But she's not an actress. She's never been trained. She's never been in anything before. So it's expected, so I can give that a pass. I mean, I can give it like, a downgrade for the acting, but I can give it a pass because, she's never been taught, you know what I'm saying? And that's the problem. They should have found somebody who could at least act, or at least is trying. But they wanted a person of a certain height, and they saw her because she's a hairdresser. I think they went in to get their hair done, and they saw her, and they're like, okay, you'll be perfect for this movie because, because of your height and stuff like that. But then there are two singers. One singer's a reality star, and her acting is not very good whatsoever. I've seen her in 3 projects, and it's just not very good. There is a famous child daughter in this movie, her acting is actually pretty good. I gotta give it up. You know what I'm saying? A whole lot better than this other movie. Like I said before, I'll get into that a little bit later. And then there's this other character who's kind of like this like hillbilly person. I've seen her act in other stuff before and it's good. It's just here she goes overboard and gives a little too much personality in her acting. And this one character, I don't really know how to judge her acting because for the most part, she doesn't say nothing for the entirety of the movie and she's barely in it. Then when she does kind of act, she's kind of odd when she acts. But then when she finally talks, she talks with a fake British accent and her acting seems okay, like what's coming out. But with that fake accent, it just sounds so weird and stuff. And it's just so weird because she just is like, oh, I forgot you was even in the movie. And so, like, like I said before, I will get into that. Like, actually, I'll get into that a little bit now. All the characters and the individuality and what worked and what did not work and stuff like that. So I might as well get into it right here, right now, before I get into what the actual plot of the movie is. Okay, so I'm finna go left to right of all the characters, who they played by, their personalities, who can act and who can't, and like, stuff like that. Now, let's start with the very first one, because I just said left and right. So that is Lily, and she is played by Kylie Williams. And this movie actually suffers from diversity. This movie has a diversity problem. Basically, every person in this movie is white. And I know what you're saying. Well, how can this movie have a diverse problem if, one of the main stars is black? Well, that's the thing. She doesn't even act like a main star. She's barely in the movie. And like she pops in and she pops out. And when she pops out, you completely forget all about her. See, her character is named Lily, and she's super, super, super shy. To the point where she has select mutism. She will not speak in front of nobody. If she wants to communicate with somebody, she just texts them and everything, even if she's in the same room with them, which does make for a very funny, hilarious gag. Now, she's mostly in her room the entire time. We don't know what she does. So she disappears for a good chunk of the movie. And I mean a good chunk. She's probably only in 1/4 of the movie and everything. And it's like even when she transformed, they start off at outcast and like, and the way they dress, and then, they turn like hot after that. After that, she still doesn't talk and she's still barely in the movie and stuff. When they're at the tiki party and everything, she's dressed up as a giant tiki head, which actually does make it kind of funny because, the Emma Stone characters are like, Lily, is that you? And she's like, she just starts giggling, which is funny, but still, we can't see her and stuff. And then it's like, when I say she disappears from the movie, she literally disappears. And if she doesn't disappear, she's in the background. When they did the calendar shoot, which was my favorite part of the entire movie, she is the one who goes last. It's like, why she has to go last for? And so then she finally talks at the very end of the movie, only to get pissed at the rest of the characters because they're being mean to other girls. And when she talks, she sounds British. She's talking with a fake British accent. The singer actress is. And that does make for a very funny part because they're all like, Lily, you're British and you can talk? And so it's like literally she went the entire time of like 3 years at that school not saying nothing. And when she does, she's finally British. Now, her acting for the most part is good when she finally starts to talk, but with that thick fake accent, it sounds weird and it makes it seem like she can't act. And so, but before, she started talking, her acting was just odd because she overdid the giggling and like the other stuff. Like she giggled and she ran, and it was just so weird and awkward. They went for like the extremeness of it and all. And she's not the only person of color to get like shortchanged in the movie. Before I get into the rest of them, so there's the part towards the end where all the Zetas are like singing, right? And they can actually sing and everything. And that's really cool. Now here's the thing. The only ones who sing is the Emma Stone character, which Emma can actually sing. I don't know why she was so scared to do it in Easy A. But like, and then the Catherine McPhee character, she sings because she's from American Idol and stuff. And I like when she hits the high notes. Everything else, not so much, but she hits the high notes really well. And then Rumor Willis, she's very catchy when she raps. Not the greatest rapper, but she just sounds catchy. You know what I'm saying? And then everybody else does like either backup or they just don't sing at all, right? And it's shocking. It's like, well, why isn't Kylie singing? She's been in two girl groups. She was in 3LW and she was in the Cheetah Girls and she did some solo stuff. You would assume that the person who actually had a real music label and didn't appear on a reality show singing and stuff would actually sing in the actual movie, but she doesn't. And it's like, that don't make no sense. And I don't know how she sung in 3LW. And actually, tell you the truth, I don't even remember how she sung in Cheetah Girls. I don't know if she was backup or not. That could be one reason why. But even some backup people can actually like spit out a tune, you know what I'm saying? And what makes it even worse is that when she's barely in the movie, okay, there's a deleted scene that did not make it in the movie. This is when Shelly decides she's gonna start like turning her life around, try to be smarter. And so there's a deleted scene in the picture where she's walking with Lily and stuff, right? This scene is nowhere in the movie. Not only is it not in the movie, it's not even in the deleted scene feature on the DVD. Now they completely cut the crap out of that scene. It's not in the movie. It's not in the deleted scenes. It's nowhere. So why did she get shortchanged in the movie so badly and everything? And she's not the only person of color to get shortchanged. In fact, Shaquille O'Neal's in the beginning of this movie, and he has a non-speaking cameo role. Now, to be fair, Shaq can't act. He can't. Let's just bottom line that right here, right now. But at least give the man something to say. Like one thing. You gave the Playboy Bunny something to say, so why not him? And he's a famous basketball player. Then, in the deleted scenes, there are 3 deleted scenes that are actually really good and should have stayed in the movie to help make the movie make more sense. And they're all people of color that got cut. One of the first ones is the dude from Community who played Abed. He's in this movie and his scene got cut. Then there's another scene where she has to get parking valet and it's like a Hispanic man. And that got cut. Then she gets a job at IHOP and she's talking to this Asian family and that scene got cut. So why are they always shortchanging like the people of color in this movie? Even this girl who is like, the friend of the sorority girl who's in that sorority, I don't know what race she is. She has brownish type skin, but that could just be a tan. And well, the other 2 sorority girls, they barely say and do anything either. But the main girl says a whole lot more than her. This one just gets punched in the boob and get told to shut up, and that's basically it. And of course, she joined the Zetas towards the end of the movie. Now, Kat Dennings is technically Jewish. Well, she is. And that's a person of color. And she gets a little bit more to do, but that's because she's a bit more famous. But the 3LW Cheetah Girl is pretty famous too, so I don't get that. Also, this is the DVD cover and the promotional picture. And as you can see, it only has like the top stars in it. Makes sense and everything. You know, he wants the most famous and stuff. But Kylie is missing and she is very famous. And yet she is not on the promotional pictures and stuff. And the DVD cover should really have like the entire cast, but if they had to make it short, they still could have added some. But still, Kylie is super famous, has traveled around the world doing like the Cheetah Girls thing, and yet she is missing. Now, Dana Goodman, who plays Carrie Mae, I don't know what she is because she's never stated, but she has kind of tannish type skin, so she might be a person of color, and she's barely in the movie too. But let's get to the other characters. Speaking of Carrie Mae, so she is played by Dana Goodman, and so her acting's okay when she's acting not so crazy. Basically, she's kind of like a hillbilly girl from Idaho who lives in a trailer park with her family. And that's all we know from her. We don't know nothing else. She don't know how to hit on guys. When she does, she embarrasses herself. She dresses pretty down, like in flannel and stuff like that. But the thing is, the actress, who's a comedian slash writer, she overdid it. She never acts like a hillbilly person. She acts like a cave woman. The way she walks, the way she talks. Like she's literally walking like a cave person at one point in the movie. And it's almost like, why are you doing that? It's a little too extreme. Like tone it down some. Now, when she has the makeover and everything, like nothing. She doesn't we don't get nothing, no character development from her, no nothing and stuff. And so we don't really know nothing about her other than she's from Idaho and lives in a trailer park and stuff. Now, Mona is played by that of Kat Dennings. She gets a little bit more character development and stuff to do. Basically, she's the goth punk alternative girl, and she doesn't the pretty people and stuff. She can't stand them. She doesn't like stupid people, and she has tons and tons and tons of piercings. And she has really short hair. And so, like, if this movie was written today, most likely she'll be like a lesbian or something like that. Or like non-binary, because she has that kind of like look to her hair and a little bit of that like personality, you know what I'm saying? And so she's very, very sarcastic. And she does not like Shelly because Shelly is not very bright and the way she dresses and stuff. Even to the point of calling her vapid and stuff. And so like she's a really rude character from the beginning. And when she has her makeover, she's completely dolled up, but in a goth kind of like hot topic kind of way. And so, like, she's a little less sarcastic and more snooty now. And she has a terrible time trying to hit on guys. And when they're rude to her, she bites them and everything. But then when the girls are rude to her, she's all like, "You want to get cut?" And basically, when they realize they're rude now because they're like super hot, that's when she's the rudest of them all, hurting the feelings of Shelly and stuff and blaming Shelly for the way they're acting and stuff. And her acting, of course, is great because she's Kat Dennings and everything. But she only plays those same type of characters, kinda. If she's not playing the rude, snappy girl, then she's playing the awkward, shy, nerdy type girl and stuff. And those are the two type of roles she always plays. Now, with her character, we don't know nothing about her. Like, nothing. We don't know if she makes good grades. We don't know what her major is. We don't know nothing about her. And so, let's see who's next. Shelly. I'll get to Shelly later because she's the main focus of the movie. Then we get Harmony, and Harmony is played by Catherine McPhee, and she started her career in reality TV with American Idol. I don't know if she ever had like a solo album or nothing like that. I've never really heard her sing outside this movie. But like I said before, she can sing really well, especially with those high notes. Some parts of it was just kind of like, I don't know. But the rest of it was like really good. Her character is a combination of two. Originally, there were supposed to be two characters. One was a hippie and the other one was a pregnant girl. So they decided to combine them together. In this movie, she's dressed kind of like a hippie, but kind of not. But she never acts like a hippie. So you don't know that she's a hippie. But other than that, you just know she is the pregnant girl. And they put a lot of focus on her belly. And it's weird seeing a pregnant girl in college. I've never seen one. It's like you'll see a blue moon before you'll ever see, like, a pregnant girl in college. Now, high school, yeah, you'll see at least one. And I know I saw one and stuff like that. I was actually friends with a pregnant girl in high school. Now, in terms of her acting, she can't act. She cannot act whatsoever. She cannot. Now, to be fair, this is like her first movie, her first anything. But I've seen her in other stuff and I'm still not impressed with her acting. She was in Scorpion, which she did a slightly better job, but not that much. And then she was in, I think, some kind of show with Angelica Houston on NBC. And she couldn't act in that either. Basically, she cannot act. And it makes you wonder how she gets these roles. Well, I got a theory and everything. Especially with the scandal that came out many years ago. But who knows? You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know what she's doing now, but I personally I don't like her at all. I think she's like, an idiot in real life. She's one of those anti-woke people, very disgusting, but not as disgusting as the Marvin actor. My God, I just now found this out about that man. I'll get into him first. I don't have a picture of him because I refuse to like even show his face in like this video and stuff. The dude who plays Marvin, now he's the overweight guy who wears a vest, who's like the butler type mixer dude at the Playboy Mansion. That man is disgusting in real life. He is literal scum. And like Catherine's an idiot, but this man takes the cake. Basically, he plays a really nice guy in the movie. He ain't like that in real life, man. Basically, he used to date Christina Ricci. They broke up. And then we got our very first biracial black president, and he went nuts in the head. He sounds like he owns a right hood. I'm not joking. Like, this man is one of the worst, and he is just vile, disgusting. He's been, I think, banned from certain social media accounts because of how disgusting and toxic he is. You know how those toxic people are on YouTube? He's a million times worse. He uses slurs, all kinds of stuff. Like, he is literally an alt-right type white supremacist type person. Like, that's how he sounds and everything. And you know how like people really hate Kevin Sorbo, James Wood, Dean Cain, Scott Baio? He's worse than all of them. Like, that's just shocking. Like, he is disgusting. And it makes you wonder, what the world did Christina Ricci see in him? But they only dated for like 2 years. And this is before he started sounding disgusting. So most likely, while talking probably about politics and race and everything, she didn't see a red flag. She saw a nuke and she left. She has the worst taste in men. I don't know how her current guy is. He seems to be pretty okay for now. But her last two men, oh no. Because she was engaged to that dude for like a year or so, but then they broke up. Seriously, disgusting. But anyways, who's next on the list? Oh, Natalie, played by that of Emma Stone, and amazingly, you can tell by watching this movie because she's only like the co-second lead. You could tell there was something special with her when it came to her acting and stuff, man. Like, she really had that it factor. She's so likable and everything. She plays Natalie. She plays the nerd, and she's an ultra nerd. Like, she's always correcting people. When the girls feel uncomfortable about dressing a certain way and talking to boys, she's all like, just treat it like a social experiment, like a science project or something. That's how she always sees things. Now, she wears glasses, and she has really bad eyesight. And so she is the first one to meet Shelly. And she's a little rude at first when she meets Shelly until like, Shelly brings boys to like their sorority house. And so that will turn them around. And for the most part, she is like one of the nicest there. Well, actually, a lot of them are nice, but like you don't know because you don't see them on screen and stuff. Oh, like the pregnant girl, she always bops in and bops out, but she's in every scene, and she gets more to say than like say Lily or stuff like that, or Carrie Mae. And so like her side plot is that she likes a guy named Kobe. He is played by something Ritter. Tyson Ritter. He is from I forgot the band he's from. Is it All American Rejects? I'm not sure. But his acting is actually pretty good in this movie for a singer. I'm very shocked, but he's barely in this movie too. He's her love interest. She's been in love with him forever. What's the name? Tries to get him to talk to her and stuff like that. Her personality is the first one we start to see start to turn when they get like super hot. She's unattentive in class. She's painting her nails instead of like, writing down notes. Like she starts to become very snobbish and don't want certain girls in their sorority. Oh, by the way, a lack of diversity, they happen to make fun and reject the girls of color when they're looking for who to like pick in this sorority. One girl looks white, but she's a little bit heavier and stuff. And it's just this movie lacks diversity so much. So- oh boy. And so who's next on this list? It is Joanne. Joanne is played by Rumor Willis, the daughter of Bruce Willis and Demi Moore. And so, like, she actually does a really good job acting in this movie. Like, the way her mannerisms, the way she walked in her, like, back brace, the way she spoke, the quirky facial expressions and everything, she did a really good job, a way better job than she did in Sorority Row. I don't know what the world happened because this movie came out a year before Sorority Row, but her acting in Sorority Row was not good whatsoever. I don't know, like how do you go from making like acting really good in one movie and bad in another? I don't know how you do that. Now I've never seen her acting in anything else because she doesn't star in things that I watch. Although she was in Pretty Little Liars, but she had a small role in that, and I barely remember it. I just remember her sitting down and talking and smiling, and that's about it. Now she's an amazing dancer. She was on Dancing with the Stars. She deserved to win, and she did. She was phenomenal, and she's so gorgeous and everything. And so her character wears a back brace, and it makes for some pretty hilarious bits. And I just really like her acting, her facial expression. She acts like a really nerdy, quirky kind of girl. And she really sold it with her facial expressions. And so the thing about her is that, people make fun of her, this and that. And until she gets, like, of course, hot. But she still has her back brace. Well, when she sees this guy jogging and everything, she really likes him. And Shelly convinces her to jog and, talk to him. And it's funny how she tries to run because she has really long, beautiful legs, and they just like side to side, she's running. And then it's like it happened. She had her moment. Her back brace broke off, and she just started jogging and running. How do you ask? Well, She was actually scared to take it off. See, her back has been repaired for many, many years, but she was always terrified of taking it off. And in her moment, it finally came off and she just started running and jogging and stuff like that. Now, she barely has anything to do in the movie and she disappears for a good chunk of the movie as well. And we don't know nothing about her, like nothing whatsoever, other than what I just told you. And now we get to the last person, Tanya. And Tanya, I think that's her name. She is played by, let's see, Kimberly Mamoko or something like that. I can't say her name. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Ma Kiko or something like that. I can't pronounce her name. I'm so sorry. Now she's not an actress. She's the one who was the hairdresser, and so like her character does not suffer from dwarfism. Like she doesn't. She actually is about 5'2", so that's like below average height. She's not much shorter than I am because I'm pretty short. I'm probably like 5'3", 5'4", or something like that. And so like, and she has really long, gorgeous legs and stuff. And she's so cute. And the thing about this movie and her, she has absolutely nothing to do. We don't know nothing about her. We know she gets picked on a lot by her because of her height. Like they make a lot of mean jokes towards her height in this movie. She's basically just a punching bag for like height jokes and everything. And she gets really defensive about that when she's around her sorority girls. But when she's around other people, she just looks at them when they just make fun of her. And that's all she does in the entire movie. She just does nothing but just looks around, and she completely disappears because they always put her in the background to make her look shorter than what she is. And they always, and everybody else in the movie is like way taller than her. They always try to make her look shorter, except for that one point when she was walking on a ramp. That was written so beautifully and stuff. And so other than that, she really does not say nothing. She probably only has 4 words to say in the entire movie. Nothing else. Like she is literally, and then the thing is like, you know, when she disappears from the movie, it's just like she's so quiet. I'm assuming her character is shy, but it's never really been revealed because Lily's supposed to be the shy one. She's just literally there, and I hate that. I want to know more about her character. I want her to say more. When she does actually say something, her acting's not very good because she's never been trained. Now, when she's moving about and looking around, her acting's fine, but she's just being like normal and stuff. And I really wish they would have took more time out to explore this character and the other ones that didn't get much, because this is how bad this is. Okay, so this picture that you've been looking at the entire time, this is the slow motion walk. They do it in all those chick flick movies that are like this, right? And so at first, you know, this is when they had their makeover. And they're walking, and then they're walking in slow motion, and you see all of them. Then the camera pans only to these girls and these girls only. It completely just drops, like, you know, Carrie Mae, Lily, and Tanya and stuff like that. And because they're not like, you know, the big name like stars and stuff. And I'm just kind of like, dude, that is so jacked up. Like, how you gonna do that to the rest of the cast? It's like they're not there. And I'm not the only person who feels that way. I was curious, like, to find out if there's been any information as to, like, you know, why Lily is barely in the movie and stuff. And I could only find one thing on Twitter. There's this person on Twitter. She was really pissed off and angry a few years ago because she says that, you know, movies are always excluding, like, minorities and stuff. And they make them the shy, mysterious, quiet type. And so she started listing tons of characters from movie, mostly Asian, because that really is a stereotype. A lot of time when an Asian person is in a movie, they're the shy, quiet, or mysterious, like, you know, stone cold killer type and everything. And it's been done a lot on The Boys, the Suicide Squad one with the Asian one with the sword, katana. And it's been so many others. And that's how, and she pointed out this actress, the Lily character, as being one of those as well. And it's like I'm not the only person who noticed this, you know? And so it's time to get to the woman herself, Anna Faris. Now, one reason why this movie is written so perfectly for a chick flick movie is because two female comedian writers wrote this movie. And you know, a lot of times, a lot of female movies do a whole much better when they're written by females. So Anna Faris played this character to perfection. Every line is written very well with her comedic chops. Now, Anna Faris once tweeted something years ago talking about she once pitched the idea that her character will be on drugs. But they couldn't do that in the PG like rating, so they decided to make her like a Playboy bunny instead. And that's who Shelly is. Shelly is a Playboy bunny, but not just any Playboy bunny. She's Hugh Hefner's favorite. And Hugh Hefner actually cameos, has some couple of scenes in this movie, and so do the girls next door. Remember those three girls that was on the reality show? Even they do a good job at acting in this, like the three Playboy Bunny girls, and that's because they were just being themselves, like on reality TV, and so that was good. So it didn't feel fake or anything like that, but they have like little small roles and stuff like that. And Shelly is an orphan. Now, there's two different scenes. There's the one theatrical one and the deleted scene. The deleted one about how she's an orphan, this and that, is a whole lot better than what they showed on the actual movie. Basically, she's just narrating about how, you know, she was in a basket left on, like, you know, a porch, and they didn't want her, but they wanted the basket. And that was a funny line, but, like, it was so much more emotional when you see like the part like in the movie where it's at the orphanage, there's a family, they have a little kid, and they see this little blonde girl, and they show like they let the little blonde girl hug like the baby, and they're all like, you know, oh, there's another little girl, blah blah. So you think that blonde girl is Shelly? It's not. Shelly's actually one with brown hair, and she's crying, and the little blonde girl is being so mean and rude, talking about nobody likes her, she stinks, she's ugly, she's this and that, and the family's all like, okay, you ready to go home now? And so they take the mean girl and they just leave, like, you know, Shelly, and like a tear come out her eye and stuff like that. But basically, she's like one of Hugh Hefner's top girls, but she's never been in a centerfold. And so it's her 27th birthday, and she's very, very sweet, kind, loving. She only wants the best out of everybody. She hates mean people. And she's always trying to help people out. And she always wants to do everything sexy. Like that's her thing. Like, oh no, you just can't write this book. You have to write it in a sexy way. Oh no, you can't just walk down the street. You have to walk in a sexy way. Oh no, you can't just cut your grass. You gotta cut it in a sexy way. That's how she is, you know what I'm saying? Because like that's just all she's ever known, like, you know, to use her sexual wiles to, like, you know, get whatever she needs and stuff. And so there's a jealous person who's there. Now every girl or every woman you see at the Playboy Mansion, they're real Playboy bunnies, except for, of course, Anna Faris and the actress who is like jealous of her. So she devised a way to get Shelly out the house. She has Marvin write like a fake note saying that Hugh doesn't want her there because she's old. She's basically like 40, something like that, even though she's 27. So they kick her out. And when she leaves, basically, like, you know, she had to come in the car that she owned, which is a raggedy, beat up, like, sports wagon and stuff. And so she's homeless. I don't know why she didn't go back to her adopted family, but she didn't. And so she has nowhere to go, and she's living in the woods in her car. And everything just goes downhill from that when she gets stopped by a cop. he wants her to blow on like a breathalyzer. She thinks he's talking about his you know what, and she spends the night in jail. She's so oblivious that like she doesn't even realize there's a drag queen in the jail cell with her and stuff. So basically, we see the deleted scene show her getting a job and this and that. They could have kept it, could have not. It didn't really matter, but it did help the story out more because it explains why she has no money for nothing. She literally has nothing, and so we see her, and she sees when she's sitting on like the curb and everything. She sees like these girls dressed kind of like her and they're walking. Well, they're walking to this sorority house. So she just follows them like a lost puppy. And she's wandering around and they're being rude to her. Even the house mothers are being rude to her. One house mothers are like, you might want to try the Zetas. They have no house mother. Those, of course, are the rejects. Now, this movie, in my opinion, shows the trueness of Greek life. The snootiness, the snottiness of sorority girls and fraternity boys. When I was in college, I could not stand them. Everything you've ever seen in the movie that's bad about them is how they act in real life. The large majority of Greek life, they are very snooty, they are very stuck up, they are very preppy, and they are very prejudiced. But there are some good ones among them and stuff. It's just very rare to find them. And I remember when I was in college, there was only two sorority girls I liked. One was really sweet who lied about her age. It's okay to be a 30, 40 something person in college. You ain't gotta lie to me in my 20s at that time. And stuff, but she was a really nice person. And then sadly, the other nice person, I only knew her for a short while. She passed away in a car accident. Somebody hit her and fell off the bridge and stuff like that. She was so sweet and nice. But like every other sorority girl I've ever seen or tried to like talk to, whatever, has always been rude. They only talk to people who look and dress like them. And since the majority of them are white, that's all the people they really like put in their sorority. There's always that one person of color who joins and they try to act like the whitest person ever. And so like they do like a lot of them, just like in the movies, they barely go to class. They have good grades, of course, and stuff because they're in Greek life. They get the best jobs when they get out of college because that's part of Greek life. You're in this like family type thing and they look after you. Basically, they get their good grades. I don't know how, you know what I'm saying? And so like, not really, I don't. Because they don't really pay attention when they're in class, and you always see them copying off other people, and you always see them drunk at like parties and acting wild and crazy. So when do they actually have time to study? So anyways, when they do graduate, they basically have jobs like lined up for them because all they have to do is be like, oh, I was in this sorority. Oh, really? That's my old alma mater, you, and so I'll hire you and stuff like that. Or they get the parents who was probably in a sorority or fraternity and they help them get jobs and stuff. But they can land those jobs like big time. And so like all the stuff they do is so fake. Like the cookouts, the partying, this and that, the charity work they do is only to make them look good and look good on their resume. They could care less about that stuff, but they have to do it to make them look good because they are wild childs and everything. They're always drunk. They're always like bumping and grinding, but they have to look good, in order to keep their houses and their dorms and stuff. And yes, they do haze people, which is something a lot of colleges is trying to get away from. Personally, colleges should just get rid of Greek life. There's really no point to it. Like everything about them is just like fake. I remember there was this one guy. He was a teacher's assistant, but he was also a student at school. And one day he just stopped showing up and we was wondering why. Turns out he got fired. Why? Because a sorority girl lied on him. Basically, she said he was hitting on her and stuff. he said what it was is that, see, the girl, she barely showed up for class and she was always missing. So being a teacher's assistant, and all everybody's like emails on file and stuff at the school, he emailed her and be like, hey, like, look, you missed a lot of classes, you should really show up. She interpreted that as him hitting on her. He even showed some of the people the email. It's a legit email. There was nothing creepy about it. And he lost his job because of that and stuff. And I'm just like, that was so messed. Like, what makes them think somebody will want them all the time? Like, unless somebody actually hits on them, hit on them. And then it's so weird because even people who are kind of like outcasts and join sororities, their personalities always change. So this movie is smart commentary on that and stuff. And Greek life really needs to end because a lot of the hazing leads to death, and there is a lot of sexual assault that deals with a lot of those fraternity dudes and stuff when they are wild at their parties. Like, you have no idea. So she goes over to Zetas, and at first they reject her. See, the Zetas about to lose their house, their charter, because they have no new members in 3 years. And so when Shelly's doing yoga in front of them and like in her skimpy outfits, it catches the attention of boys, which makes Natalie think, hey, because like Harmony's all like, so we have to be popular to be like cool or whatever. And she's like, no, but we need to do it to keep our charter. And Shelly will help us. So it's kind of like a you situation. Shelly's homeless and they need to be popular. And so like, and so because of that, she really does try to help them out, like build up their social, like, anxiety and make them like the hit of like, the campus and stuff. And she does this while they all still dress the way they normally do. Now, Anna Faris had to dress in a lot of skimpy outfits. So skimpy, she looks like she's naked throughout the entire movie. But she's wearing clothes. Now, there is one point where she is naked because her character likes to walk around naked around the house and when she's like out the shower and stuff like that. And so, like, apparently Anna Faris, I had no idea, has like self-esteem issues. She didn't feel comfortable wearing those outfits. She didn't think she was like sexy and all that stuff. I'm just like, what? I could not believe that because she is gorgeous and everything. And she has an amazing body. And so I was very shocked to hear that she didn't really like none of the stuff she had to wear and she didn't feel okay with her body and stuff like that. And I'm just like, man, like, I don't understand that because she is like amazing looking and stuff. And so like, while Shelly is there and she's trying to help the girls out and everything, things are not working out to where the sororities and the fraternities are really being mean to the girls. Shelly's trying to do everything she can, even take them out to karaoke and this and that, but they get made fun of so badly and stuff. And it gets worse when they head back to their like sorority home, and the sorority and fraternity people unleash a pig in their dorm house. And so this is when they decide, enough is enough, and they're gonna start fighting back. But they're gonna fight back by trying to like, compete with them and stuff. So with like, they get like makeovers and stuff like that, and they make over their sorority. And with all the money they're gonna raise, they're able to do that. They start painting like, the walls to make it look more presentable because it looked like a rundown shack before. And so when they get their makeovers and stuff, they do like a photo shoot with the money saved up. They have like a tiki torch type like party and everything, a tiki party, because Natalie's a virgin and Shelly wants to sacrifice her and stuff. And it's funny because, to sacrifice them, you have to like slide down this ramp and stuff like that, down this slide. And I think Emma Stone said it felt like jelly, like gelatin, like walking through before you go down like the slide. And it looks so cool and everything. And the deleted scene is a little bit more longer, and other people are doing it. And so, like, this is starting to piss off the other sororities where they're all like, what's going on? Nobody wants to come to our parties. Nobody wants to pledge us. Now they're all over there. So, just like with like Mean Girls and Clueless, then the outcast people are the new, like, it people. You know what I'm saying? And it's causing a lot of competition. And this is when their personalities start to waver. Well, at some point in time, Shelly falls in, she falls for like this guy she met named Oliver, played by Tom Hanks' son, Colin Hanks, not Chet Hanks. Chet is the crazy one who's like a rapper and uses the N-word and all kind of other stuff. This is Colin, the one who actually acts, and for the most part acts normal, hopefully. He plays the Prince Charming, nice guy and everything. And so he is one of the, I don't even know if he's a student at the campus, but he's like putting up flyers, to help out the homeless, but the old people shelter and stuff, or the old folks home. And so, the girls, they go there, and the old dudes, they're like loving it. Now, the soundtrack, my God, is amazing for this movie. It has a cult following too. It actually got me into like a lot of songs that I've never heard of before. And so, like, because of this, now that the roles have shifted, Shelly wants to go on her first date with Oliver, but she doesn't know how. He's an intellectual, she is not. So the girls tone her appearance down because he likes more sophisticated girls. She wears Natalie glasses, but before all that happened, she went on a date dressed the way she normally does. And she dressed like Marilyn Monroe. And then there's that that really hilarious bit where it's like the grate scene and like the sewer grate, and like the steam's coming up. It made for a hilarious moment when she's like, "This is freaking hot," and it burns her legs because steam is really hot and it can burn you and stuff. So she has at least second-degree burns like on her legs. And so, like, she's trying her extreme best to not sound dumb, but she is, because she's not bright whatsoever. And so the thing about her is that she feels that to keep a guy interested, you have to be a girl in demand. And so you have to make the guy jealous, pretend like you want somebody else. This is what she does to Nally when Nally finally gets the courage to talk to Kobe during the tiki party and stuff, which really pisses off like Nally at first because she's all like, I love this dude, and why would you make him think that I'm with like other people and stuff? Well, when she sees her dates not going well with Colin, she pulls that maneuver, which pisses him off because she literally says, I have another date in a couple of hours. And so he don't want nothing to do with her and stuff. So this is when she tones down herself and she's dressed like a librarian and everything. He agrees to go on another date, and she's trying extremely best to be smart. Why? Because the other girls have been like teaching her. That's that long montage we get, the one that the Lily character was cut out of and stuff. And the one where we see Natalie is starting to neglect her school and stuff, and like her school activities. When she tries to sound like an intellectual, oh boy, it makes for some hilarious stuff. But basically, she falls all down like Steve Urkel hits her head, and she's all like sweet balls and everything. Because when she gets like upset, it's kind of like Tourette's almost. She'll just blurt something weird out. And I didn't even get to the point where she likes to say people's name. In order to remember somebody's name, she's all like, say somebody's name is Natalie. She's like, Natalie. It's just weird because it comes out of nowhere. And so basically, this is when the whole life lesson thing happened in the Revelation and stuff. As the girls are home trying to decide who they should like pick and everything, they're rejecting girls left and right, and they're making fun of them. And this pisses off Lily, which, she yells at them and like fusses them out. And this is when it reveals she can talk and she is British. And so in comes Shelly, and then this when all the girls start getting mad at her, talking about this is all your fault. We was normal before you changed us and stuff like that. So it is kind of like, it's just like Mean Girls and Clueless and stuff, but it's also kind of like the reverse. So by this time, Hugh has called her back, and because how she got kicked out got exposed, and he wants her back. At first, she rejected him, but then she accepts. And when she's doing her new photo shoot, she's just not happy no more. She's not happy with the Playboy lifestyle no more. She has changed. She has evolved. She has learned about charity and stuff like that. And so the other girls, they have to get like their pledges and stuff like that. But Lily screws up when she gets distracted by a fraternity guy, which causes the sorority girl to steal her pledges and throw them away. So all the people, well, she didn't really throw them away. She put them in like their thing. So Zeta's kind of like, well, where is everybody? Like everybody loves us, but nobody's pledging. But then they see tons of people at the other sorority, and then they find out what happened. So by this time, they find Shelly, and it's kind of screwed up because they do feel bad about how they treated her, and they decide they're gonna be half of who they were and half of Shelly. See, the thing is, this movie could be problematic for some people because basically it tells you in order to succeed in life and be cool and to get somebody, you have to dress like slutty and everything and lower yourself. But there are some people who want that confidence and stuff. And so it's one of those toss-ups. It's kind of like body positivity and being who you are. Like you should always be who you are. And you shouldn't really change yourself. But sometimes if you need a certain pick me up, like it's okay to like change yourself a little, you know what I'm saying? But you shouldn't change yourself dramatically. And so they find Shelly and they apologize and they tell her what happened and how they don't have their pledges. But it's not like they found her to apologize because they felt bad. They just did that, probably hoping she could make everything turn around. And she does. As they're about to get kicked out of the campus and stuff, Shelly makes a passionate plea with the council and stuff. Now, there's a different scene in the deleted scene. Basically, Harmony goes into labor. For whatever reason, Shelly tries to deliver the baby. There's a piece of delivery guy. There's a lot of hilarious stuff. The paramedics show up and all this other stuff. It's really funny. It could have stayed in, but I like this one a whole lot more. And plus, it would have gave Harmony something to do. But I like this one a whole lot more. Shelly gives a very, very personal and passionate speech about how she has this one disease that made her butt itchy and everything. And so she learned to live with it and accept it for what it was because it made her different and special and unique and everything from everybody else. And she was okay with that disease and all this other stuff. And so she makes this big passionate plea, which causes so many of the other pledges to want to pledge now Zeta and stuff. And even to the other mean girl, like her friend who's always getting punched in the boob, she decides she wants to pledge there, talking about how they're a lot nicer, even though she's mean and made fun of them so many times. And a lot of people in this movie only liked these girls when they had their makeover. Like Kobe, he never seemed like he was too much interested in Natalie. Like he'll talk to her, but he wasn't all that interested in her. And but he really got interested when she like changed herself. But then she went back to like who she was. And when she went back to who she was, I never noticed that Emma Stone has freckles. Like seriously, she always covers them up. And so like the girls, they get to keep their house and everything, and and she talks to that of Oliver because she wrote him a note talking about she's going to I think Peru or something like that to like climb the mountains and help starving kids or something like that. But he decides he's gonna come around, and once he discovers who the real her is, because when he started to kind of suspect she might be in Playboy because everybody else recognized her, she didn't want him to know that. So he's going to give her a chance and not judge her by like her appearance and stuff. Plus, he's probably turned on by the way she looks and stuff like that. And so it basically ends. So this movie was well written. It had a great plot to it. You had some great character development in the Shelly character, and there were life lessons taught left and right. And even the person who's like the dumbest person in the movie gave one of the most passionate, emotional pleas that made her the smartest person in that entire room. Happy Women's History Month, everybody. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.